Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I am Crank Addict, and this is the channel for crank addicts like me and hopefully you. Today we're back on the Jimmy. Yeah! Let's get something done with this thing because I want to get it on the road. It's almost ready for body work, but there's a few more things we need to do to get this thing driving around. One, of course, is the drive shaft, which is on order. That's a big one. This Jimmy's got full-time four-wheel drive, and it's not going to go anywhere without a front drive shaft. And the second thing is I need to work on the rear end a little bit. Okay. Right now, this Jimmy has an open differential in the rear, which is not good for a four-wheel drive vehicle. We need to give it some kind of limited slip action. And there are several different types of limited slips available. The most traditional type is like a clutch type. It's like a friction discs rubbing together to limit how fast one tire can spin over the other. And they work really well. Okay? You see the limited slips in muscle cars mostly, and sometimes trucks. The next step up is going to be like a little cone type differential. The cones have just a couple of cones that mesh together, and the friction between the cones is what causes the other drive wheel to spin. So you have both wheels spinning. And I believe those are more popular with road racers, but I've heard that there's some issues with them. I probably wouldn't do a cone style limited slip. Okay? The third type of limited slip is actually a locker. A locker is when both axles are actually locked together as one. And you can do this with a mini spool, which locks them together 100% of the time. Not recommended for the street. Okay? Or you usually do it with like an air engagement device. You got a little air tank on board, you flip a switch, your axles lock together, and then you can like crawl through anything. Okay? But I've got a different type of locker that I'm going to show you. Check this out. Okay, my friends, this is an Eaton locker. Okay, the Eaton locker was used in many GM trucks starting in the late 60s, I believe, all the way up into present day. And what makes this locker different than your typical off-road air locker is that it has a series of little weights and pivot points inside here. So it actually is an open differential until these weights detect a difference in speed of your tires of, I think it's about 100 RPM or something like that. So if one tire turns 100 RPM faster than the other tire, okay, and that could be just like a split second, then these weights will swing out, lock this place in gear, and the other tire will get equal traction. Now lately, these have gotten a bad rap. I think the biggest issue is like when you do jackrabbit starts and you jump on the throttle real quick, sometimes this locking mechanism will fail on you. Okay, but this is not going into a drag car. We're not going to be launching this thing hard off the starting line. This is a four-wheel drive vehicle, and typically you're already moving before this differential senses that difference in speed. You'll be crawling around, doing 5-10 miles an hour. One wheel starts slipping, thunk. You're usually at 1/4 power or less, right? I mean, you're not going to full throttle through the trails 100% of the time. So you're at partial throttle. This thing detects the difference in speed, locks, and it goes. And what I thought was really interesting, maybe it's a sign from God, but this unit actually came out of a What I find interesting is that this unit actually came out of a 1973 Chevy truck, which just so happens to be the same year as our Jimmy. So, I don't have an install kit or anything like that. I've got a couple of shims that the previous owner sent me. And I've got my differential. So we're going to drop this thing in place and just see how things mesh up. Totally wrong. This is for entertainment purposes only. Let's get to it. Okay, I hope you guys can see me down here. I disconnected my microphone and hooked up a brand new ring light. So hopefully that allows me to film into some darker areas, but the sound may not be as high quality, so bear with me. Anyway, first step is I gotta jack up this vehicle from the back, get the tires off the ground. The front wheels are already chocked, so this thing isn't gonna move anywhere. But we're picking it up because we have to remove the tires and remove the brake drums and remove the axles from inside this housing in order to install that differential. Okay, let's do that. Gotta put a little padding on the jack to protect our pretty painted axle housing. Okay, now these axles will just slide out once you release the C-clips. So for that, I've got to go into the differential. So we're going to pop this case off. This thing is supposed to be empty, but we will see. Okay guys, try to remember where all these go for me, okay? Well, I can certainly smell it now. Differential fluid has a very particular funk to it. Let's get this little brake line out of the way. Set it up there. All right, there we go. Huh. There's a lot of powder in here. I wonder where all that powder came from. That rust? I'm not sure. That's weird. Okay, this is an open differential. Right now I can spin one of the axles and the differential in here just spins. If this was a locking or limited slip differential, I could spin this and this whole thing would move with me. But it doesn't move. Only the gears inside spin. So that means it's an open differential. All right, now to get to the C-clips, we have to uninstall this stuff here. Okay, this is the little bolt that keeps this pin in place. So we're going to take this bolt out and slide the pin out. Once the pin's removed, these things will just fly all over the place. There we go. All right. There's your bolt. And I'll give that a little push and slide this out. There's your cross pin. Slightly oily. And the gears are wanting to come out. That's okay. So now if you take your axles and push them in, listen for it, listen. There you go, tink. There it is. There's one C-clip. If I can fish it out, maybe I'll just push it to the bottom. It'll be easier. Jump in front of the camera here and push the other axle in. There we go. Normally that pin, the cross pin, keeps the axles from going in. So this doesn't happen when you're going down the road. There we go. All right, got them both out. I'm going to go ahead and remove these spider gears. There's your two C-clips. And where's my other spider gear? There it is up there. And what I might do is just rotate the axle a little bit and it'll bring it around. Look at that. Whee! Hello. Got it. Okay. All right, so now we slide out the axle. Alright, you want to be careful sliding out your axles. You don't want to nick these seals. Try to grab them with two hands and try to minimize how much drag you put on them. There we go. That's an axle. Such an axle. Same thing here. Nice and easy. Try not to drag it on that seal. There we go. Alright. Got those guys out of here. There's a big roller bearing in here. If you want to squish a little grease in there, while you've got this apart, not a bad time. But these usually do pretty well because they always get a little bit of gear lube from the center section. They're not supposed to, but they do. Yeah, you have an inner and an outer seal here. Feels pretty good. Now that the axles are out, we can take this center section out. We are not going to be removing the pinion gear. Again, this is not the right way to do this, but let's just see. I can't believe how dirty this is. There's a lot of crud in there. Okay, we're going to clean all this out. Let's see, what is that? It's what, a 5/8 maybe? 5/8. Bingo. And let's see how tight these are. Oh, that's not bad. Bearing there. And sometimes these can be tricky to get out. We may need a crowbar. I think we do. Let me see here. What do we got? Try this first. Big empty box that will hopefully crush and catch this thing, but it does pop out. I got it. I got it. Oh, yeah. There we go. Okay. Try to keep the races with the bearings. And it's out of there. All right. So, I want to turn off the camera and give this thing a good cleaning. 38, 39, 40, 40. Okay, so we got 41 gears on this ring gear, and the pinion had 11. So let's see here, that's 3, 7, 3, 3, 3, 3, 373 gears, okay? So this is a 373 gear ratio here. So we are going to remove this ring gear. That's the other spider gear. We're going to remove this ring gear and install it on this other unit. 9/16. I doubt my impact will knock those off. It's just an electric impact. So let's see how tight these guys are. Let's see. Sometimes it helps to go from the other side. Yeah. I may not be able to get that right here. That's tight. Okay, guys, you got to see this to believe this. DeWalt 20-volt impact wrench. Ta-da! Not too shabby. I like it. Now, have you guys ever wondered why they call these 12-bolt rear ends? It's not because they had 12 bolts on the differential cover. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh, I'm glad that worked out. 12 bolts. I got a broken lock washer there. Okay, you're not supposed to hit the ring gear here with a hammer. Oops, I'm losing parts of my vise. Not sure I'm moving it much. Well, hope you guys are finding this entertaining. Come on, get out there. This ring gear was made 573. So this is actually the original open differential for that Jimmy. Who would order a Jimmy with an open rear end? Crazy. Whew. All right, well, I may have to take this to my friend's house and see if his press will be able to pop that off. So we'll come back later. All right, my buddy helped me get this thing off. It's actually easier than I thought it was gonna be. We didn't put it in his vise or anything, or his press. Start over. Okay, my buddy helped get this thing off, and it was actually easier than I thought it would be. We did not put it in a press. We just set it upside down and put this piece of bar stock next to it. And while one person held it, we went boing, 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 back and forth, hammering on the bar stock, not the ring gear. And it just came right off. Not a big deal. Now this ring gear is not in the best of shape. I don't know if you guys can see this or not, but we got some pitting on the surfaces of it here. So that may or may not make any noise going down the road. It's kind of bad right through here. It's kind of rough there. So that might make some noise going down the road. But this is going to be a low buck install, so I'm not going to be wasting a whole lot of money on an install kit or anything like that. Besides, I don't want to have to pull that pinion out. So I am going to install as is and just try to get the clearance right. Okay. All right, here's the locker. And I really doubt this thing's gonna just drop on there. Oh. There you go. Okay. I was gonna throw the ring gear in the barbecue grill for a few minutes and heat it up, but there you go. So let's put this over. It will tighten the bolts. Wow. That's kind of funny. If you're not laughing, you should be. Just saying. Goodness. Goodness. Okay, so now I've got 4 bolts semi-torqued there. I'm gonna go ahead and clean off my other bolts with some solvent, and we're gonna apply a little thread locker to make sure these guys don't come undone. So, thread locked. That doesn't want to go. There we go. And let's get a torque wrench. Hard to do. Get closer here to me. There we go. Can you guys still see? Yeah. Is that 12 yet? Crap. Okay, that's 12. All right. All right. The housing has been cleaned out. There's a lot of grit and stuff, even in like the part of these tubes here on the side, you know. I'm not sure what all that's from. I guess maybe just years of abuse. You know, running through mud, who knows what. But anyway, we'll reinstall this and we'll drop in some shims and we'll just kind of see how it meshes. Let me get all my parts together here. All right. All right, now there's supposed to be some shims that go on here. Where did my shims go? Ah, they're right behind me. So I measured these shims. One says 244 thousandths, and the other one is a little thinner at 235 thousandths. What I think is interesting is that these shims I took out of here were the exact same. That's kind of weird. Wow, I want this thing to behave. This race is stuck. Don't know what it's hung up on. Well, I'll try it. Okay. This gives me a chance to get my bolts and a screwdriver and some other stuff, so let's see what's going on. Okay, let's see what's going on. There we go. Slide this shim in first. That helps to align things. There we go. So yeah, by using the thicker shim on the left side, it's pushing this ring gear to the right just a hair. And just listening to it, it sounds pretty good. That's pretty close. Okay, good. What do you guys think? Should I check the backlash or not? That sounds good. I can barely feel it move. Might be a little bit on the loose side. If I was to guess, probably around 10 or 12 thousandths instead of, 6 or 7. But like I said, these are used gears. A new gear will wear and your backlash will increase initially. But being used gears, these should mesh together and there shouldn't be much more wear. Okay, well I cannot find my dial indicator, so what's the name of that city in Thailand? You know the one. Okay. Okay. So we'll take out the same little bolt here on the side. That was nice, not even tight. And there is that pin, it just dropped. Now, here we go. I'm gonna get over on this side here. And I think what I'm gonna do first is go ahead and leave the pin in there and slide my axles in so I don't mess up any of those spider gears. Okay, here we go. Nice and easy. Don't cut your seals. Get it to engage. There we go. I'm glad that was fitting. For a second there, I was worried that the splines were different. Like, why would they be different? But it fit. On to the other side. Don't touch the sides. There we go. That wasn't so tough. Okay. Spin this around. Pull out the pin. Oh, I wish you guys could see this, but you can't. I'm gonna push the axle in a little further. There we go. That exposes the groove for the C-clip. I'll slide that up in there. And while I'm holding it, I'm gonna pull the axle back out. Come on. There we go. Okay, good. All right. Now I'm gonna flip sides here and do the same thing for the other axle. All right, so I fill it, push the axle in. Okay, good. I can feel the groove, C-clip. Going into the groove and pulling the axle back out. There we go. Nice. And we will drop this guy back in. All right. We're going to have to line up the pin. The hole needs to be facing this way, or else you'll never get your thing in place. Okay, so got to wiggle the spider gear a little bit to get the pin in. It's already moved a little bit. Same on the back one. We're lined up. Okay, there we go. Oh, it's wanting to drop all the way down. No, don't do that. Come back up a little bit. Okay. I'm going to hold that pin and rotate it around a little bit. go. All right, and I'm gonna put just a little dab of Loctite on this guy. So this is a little bolt, so you can't put too much force on there. So that Loctite's gonna help keep this thing in place. Gotta play around with it a little bit. There we go, until it slides into place. I don't know what the official torque spec on that little guy is, but it's not much. I just go hand tight, snug. Yeah, I'm just gonna use this little 6-inch wrench here. Just snug it up. Longer wrenches will probably break the bolt off. Get it nice and snug. There, that's not gonna go anywhere. So, I don't have a gasket for this guy. So, I gotta run to the auto parts store, buy a gasket, and then we'll put in some gear oil. For gear oil, we are just going to use, I think it's like a 80-90 or 80-110, something like that. But you don't add any limited slip additive to it because this is all mechanical. Any additives and sometimes even synthetic oil will change the rate at which these things lock. So if you want the factory type performance, you should put factory type oil back in here. All right, well, I'm going to reinstall these drum brakes. And the wheel. And if you want to see whether this thing howls or not going down the road, make sure you hit that subscribe button, because this thing will be going soon. Okay? Thanks for watching, and I'll try to keep the videos coming more regularly.